Welcome, and this is Breaking News Wahala on Kiro Talk. And my name is Marvelous Achafu Kelechi. And I have Chimereze Harry, all the way from our Toronto studios in Canada. Welcome, Chimereze.
Thank you, Mr. Achafu. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. And how are you doing?
I'm good.
So moving on to today's news, it's no news that the Taliban have taken over Afghanistan and captured the capital, Kabul. And we are just trying to dissect it. First, we'll be looking at two angles. What does this mean for the general public? And what does it mean specifically for the LGBTQI community in the Afghanistan country? Take a look at these videos and see what we're talking about, the chaos that's going on in Afghanistan.
My message to our countrymen is that they shouldn't worry as the Mujahideen of the Islamic Emirate entered the city. We just want them to not go out from 9 p.m. at night for at least 1 or 2 nights so as to avoid any chaos.
So welcome back. You guys have seen the videos, the horrific videos and the horrific tales going on in Afghanistan, people running helter-skelter, little children being stuck in the city, people trying to escape and run for their lives. I'll be looking at this from two angles. First, from the angle of the ordinary citizen in Afghanistan, because whether we like it or not, LGBTQI members in the city, they are first citizens before they are LGBTQI, they are human beings first. So just going deep, first, I would like to go through, just talk about why Afghanistan fell so cheaply to the Taliban. First, I would like to say it's in a country where, first, the Afghanistan army, they have about 300,000 army. But guess what? The Taliban have just 80,000 army. But in less than weeks, the entire country was overrun. First, it was due to corruption. There was corruption in the system. The Afghanistan government have been giving billions of dollars in grants and in fighting in aids to fight the Taliban. But it cannot show in the welfare of even the soldiers, because some soldiers are being owed as much as 3 months to 5 months salary. Soldiers being owed. It only happens in the field system. It shows that they were dependent on NATO weapons, and basically, like I said, they were dependent on foreign support. The same issue here in Nigeria, and the same issue we're facing with terrorism also, where we depend on loans to fight terrorism. And also in the spirit of the Taliban, they were highly motivated. But the Afghanistan, on the other hand, the Afghanistan soldiers were not motivated. That's why the Afghanistan soldiers were surrendering, just cheaply surrendering. And now, in less than weeks later, the country has been overrun. Just bringing it home now to the LGBTQI community members in Afghanistan. The Taliban judge known as Gul Rahim has said that the gay community, they would be crushed to the walls. They will be pushed to the walls. Anybody found or guilty of homosexuality will be crushed to the walls, and that will be their punishment. They will bring back public execution. So also some of the gay community members, and just many, many unthoughtful things. And it shows that people are struggling, rushing so much to leave that city. Chimereze, would you like to add anything? Was there anything you also saw in the video that was disturbing for you before we now break this down?
To be honest, the video is really graphic when you see your fellow human being running out of a place they call home. So many people are about to lose all their investment, their businesses, their home, their family. You can imagine children who will be displaced and women who will be displaced, because at the end of the whole day, when war comes, it's mostly women and children that are affected more. And knowing that the government could have done something to prevent this from happening is the most annoying situation, which still boils down to relating to Nigeria. Now we can see where Afghanistan is heading to. We can also see the same trend in our African countries. And if we don't do anything to prevent this from happening, this will be the end result. Because like they always say, the way you make your bed, that is how you're going to lie on it. And the fortunate thing is that when this bed is made, it is not the politicians in power who get to lie on this bed, because now the politicians have all flown out from the country with their private jets, with their assets. They are nowhere to be found in the country. Who is left to suffer this dehumaniating situation? It's the poor masses. This is right time when we say people come out and vote. Come out and vote for the right people. Stop selling your vote. Stop selling your vote for cheaper things and securing a future of insecurity, and buying a future of war, and buying a future of displacements. This is what we talk about. And Afghanistan is one good example now that we can see. The only thing we pray and hope for is that the international community steps in and tries to help, because we can see the savage done in that country right now. You could see people trying to even jump on an airplane that is moving, a U.S. Air Force, and that is
someone even fell from the plane. There was a visual of someone falling from the plane. People that hanged on the side. There was a visual.
People falling from the plane. This shows you. I'm like, where is our, like, to be honest and to be frank, where is our humanity when we do some certain things? Because I don't understand, like, how do people just sit down and decide to perpetrate evil against a certain people, against a certain religion, or against a certain tribe? Like, it still boils down to where is our human thoughts? Like, some people's conscience has been buried, to be honest. Again, that is that my first question is, where is our first act of humanity, which is kindness and hospitality to one another? We can see that the US, I'm sorry to say, but the US is only there when it's profitable. Now that it's no longer profitable, the US soldiers, the ambassadors, and all these other foreign nationals will go back to their country. So when Nigeria becomes unprofitable, when Africa becomes unprofitable, the US, the UN, and the British will all take their private jets and their jets, and they will leave those nations, and they will leave it to such a problem. So it is rather this becomes an eye-opener for us in Africa to know that Africa can only be revived, or the nations that have been scattered can only be revived by those that dwell in those nations, the common man, the common masses. That is the only way we can build a better Africa, a better country, a better Afghanistan, because at the end of the whole day, these foreign nationals will escape when things are not going well.
So for me, I would just like to say this, that it is a shameful thing that the president has left the nation and ran away and absconded and left his people to the hands of the terrorists, the Taliban. And for those that do not know, why I'm concerned mostly about LGBTQI community members is that we do not want the same thing that ISIS is doing in Iraq and in some parts in also Iran, where they are throwing LGBTQI men or gay men, the word, from tops of buildings. And it shows that if we do not take care, because people are running for their life, we see what is happening in the Obey districts of the Taliban, why people are fleeing, people in their youth, as far as climbing planes. For those that do not know, they should check some of the Taliban's with the way they've dealt with citizens of that country. Some mass execution, some public execution, hanging. And when it now becomes a country that is 99% Muslim, and they want the Sharia law, the Taliban, they say they are passing on the Sharia law. And on the Sharia law, the sentence or the penalty for being practicing the homosexual act is to be put to the sword. And then when you are put to the sword, we now wonder, what is the lives of those people? How safe are they? It is easy for people like Nimad Sita, the first man who came out openly as gay, the professor, the assistant professor of that university in Afghanistan, that came out publicly. He had to leave the country because it was very, very hard for him. But there are lots of people, especially in the city of Kabul, the capital city. They have like an underground, a very, very big underground LGBTQI life there. How would they be secured? How is their fate now? Because their fate is hanging in a balance. We saw what happened in northern Nigeria. Imagine there's terrorism over here in Nigeria. There's terrorism in northern Nigeria. Big terrorism, like big one, spreading all across the state. I imagine one day these people become strong like the Taliban and spread to the entire 36 states. That means we are no longer safe. Because if we can report a story, the story reported about 5 men who are being tried under the Sharia law and they will be put to death if they are guilty, if they are found guilty, then it shows that even Nigeria too is not safe. Some people might be sitting in their house and say, oh, Palestine is Afghanistan. Today, tomorrow it might be the biggest black nation in Africa or in the world, not even in Africa, the biggest black nation in the world, which is Nigeria. So it's hanging at a balance. And I want international bodies to look at this. And it's even, because if I even call on international bodies, what are they going to do exactly? If the whole US can be so powerless and has failed in a 20-year war and ended the same way it started, the weapons now, all the US weapons, the helicopter, the sophisticated weapons are now in the hands of the Taliban. Basically everything, the military base, they just pick military base over years, 20 years of building military base. And in the end, the Taliban get to inherit all the hard work, all the military gear, all the helicopters, everything, the support, the ground support. Then it takes us back to square zero. And the lives of the LGBTQI member, especially in the city of Kabul, which seems to be like the most liberal city in the whole of Afghanistan, is hanging on a thread. Because if we have one of their Taliban judges, which is Gul Rahim, saying that they are going to be crushed to the wall, and some of them publicly hanged, and they are going to get a very, very harsh treatment, then it's just something that's very, very hard to digest. And we're just putting that out there. This is a story that I would see how we can get to what's his name, Nimat, the first openly, the man who came out openly first, to try and get his own side of the story and still find out more about this thing. But we're just giving our 2 cents, and that's our offering. And for now, that's what we'd just like to say. Till when we get, let's just, and is there anything you'd like to add finally? In us just wrapping it up, because I would still want to touch more on this. It's something that is very, very deep. And something we have to speak about, because that will like it on thousands, hundreds, or let's say hundreds, if not thousands of people. It might even be millions of people that are LGBTQI underground in that country might be hanging on a thread. A country that is no escape. Turkey is rejecting anybody. Turkey are rejecting people. Pakistan is not willing to take anybody in now. It's only the rich people that can leave. Even for now, there's no evacuation because the terrorists has taken over even the presidential palace, and it calls to play everything. It brings to play the Taliban, the failure of government in Afghanistan, just the pure failure of government in Afghanistan, and their failure to nip this thing in the bud. Chime, is there any final thing that you'd like to add?
I've said this, and I'm sounding like a broken record. We can only build our own community. I don't know why we have this notion where we expect a savior to come save us, build stuff for us, do stuff for us, and then we certainly get to the place where we want to get to. But I'll say it again, the LGBTQ community in Nigeria, the LGBT community in Africa, the LGBTQ community in Afghanistan, we can only build our community by us and for us. The earlier we start building our community, the better for us. I've said this before, we need to start raising funds. Right now we know that, okay, they are in short, nobody's even talking about the LGBTQ community in Afghanistan for now, apart from the measures of or harshness they're going to receive. But us on the other side of the story, what are we doing? How are we going to help change this history? How are we going to contribute to eradicate this that's going on? Is by making sure we give out a helping hand in this situation. We can raise funds. We could look for how to help people with transportation to leave those places to a safe place, and we can also assist those who in developing countries in getting food and water at this time. There are so many things we can do. We can talk about this, we can sign petitions, we can bring this whole situation to the eyes of the general public. There is nobody who can say, okay, I don't know what to do. There is so many things to do in developing countries to secure the LGBTQ community, to protect it, to build it, to make sure it doesn't go to the slum. We are drowning drowning in this situation. Please, 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 what we need now are life jackets to save those who are drowning. We should not get to a place where we feel so comfortable, because like most of us abroad, most of us in America, UK, and Canada, we as LGBTQ folks, we just become so comfortable, we've just relaxed, and we've turned a blind eye to those who are suffering. It is high time we open up our eyes and go back to the people who are going through times and render a helping hand. That's all I have to say.
And that's all we have to say. Our heart goes out to the LGBTQI community in Afghanistan. We stand with you. We sympathize with you and we stand with you. That's the word. We shouldn't have to be talking about things like this in the 21st century, but this is the way we have found ourselves. And this is something that we'll keep on going about. We keep on talking about this. Because of this, it has brought back the same thing to happening in Ghana, which we're going to continue talking about. And that's our offering for Kuro Talk for this episode, the Breaking News Wahala segment. Join us next episode. And please don't forget to subscribe and check us out on Spotify. Till next episode, see you guys later. Peace out.